Hi, everyone, and welcome to Kaptivate's Pivot and Thrive series, where we highlight real stories of resilience, reinvention, and new possibilities. Each story follows a journey from the challenge to the pivot to what it means to truly thrive. Today, I'm joined by Andrew Sachs, founder and CEO of Nobel Learning, an organization helping young people build the skills, confidence, and experience they need for successful careers in the digital world. Through hands-on project-based learning, Nobel is reimagining how we prepare students for the workforce. Welcome, Andrew.
All right, thank you, Jen. And I
Mm,
want to say our journey actually started 6 years ago, right? And I think we
mhm.
connected on how critical soft skills were. I don't know if you feel particularly prophetic about that, but it seems to be more important than ever.
I do. I remember that. I remember that conversation very well. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. So, what do you see as the biggest challenge in preparing young people for digital careers, and how is that shaping the future of work?
Oh, awesome question. We met 6 years ago. It was 2019, right?
Hmm.
And the world was already changing fast. And we'll just say that things have accelerated significantly since then. Obviously AI, data analytics, global communication, even the call that we have regularly inside of Nobel couldn't have happened
Hmm.
6 years ago, right?
Hmm.
But it's changing the way we live and work at lightning speed. And to succeed, we have to use those technologies, right, to be more efficient. But we also need to be more human, more collaborative, more
Hmm.
creative, more empathetic, to do the things that computers cannot do. And so it's an amazing time to be alive. There's so much productivity. But if you look at what we're doing and what you need, probably one of the biggest challenges is that we actually teach our kids the opposite of these skills. So in a world where that's constantly being disrupted and changed with AI, we're teaching kids to do it what they're told. In a world where you need collaboration, youth are being told to do their own work and to compete against each other. So it's really not only an opportunity, right, to use these tools, but
Hmm.
also a challenge that we have to help them unlearn the things that we've taught them in our traditional education systems. I think on top of all that, we really need to teach our youth how to take control of their tech and not let their tech control them.
Hmm.
I had a fantastic 15-year-old polymath that said to me, "What's wrong with you old people?" He goes, "You teach us all this stuff that doesn't matter. You take our time, you take our youth, and then you put a device with apps more addictive than any drug known to man in our pocket, and you wonder why things aren't turning out very well." He goes, "What's wrong with you? You didn't. We didn't mess this up. You did." So
That's great. Yeah, I do remember when we met, we spent all that time talking about the importance of those soft skills. And I can tell you, in the 6 years since we've met, I now call them transferable skills.
amen.
Yeah, love that concept because they're not soft. They're definitely critical to student success, and they're easily transferable from job to job, from position to position. They're great for your personal life, whatever you want to do with them. So knowing all of that, what is Nobel doing to respond to that challenge?
I'll say what Nobel did is a lot of what youth and everybody needs to do, and that is adapt. When we
Hmm.
met, it was pre-COVID, and we talked about these soft skills, right?
Hmm.
Section Adela calls empathy not a soft skill, but the hardest skill to learn, right? And empathetic listening as the forerunner of design thinking, which is innovation. So here you have one of the most successful CEOs of a tech company of all time, speaking at the top of his lungs about how critical this hard skill is, right? This people skill.
Hmm.
We started and we were actually just six youth here in Washington, D.C., youth leaders. It was kind of almost quaint. This past year, we had almost 6,000 across
Wow.
168 countries. And we adapted, right? We along the way, we started out with one course, found out what worked, did 27 that year, I don't know, I think we had 300 a few years ago. Last year, we had almost 6,000. And this year, we'll shoot for 20,000. But all along the way, we're changing and adapting. And I think the world is doing that, right? The tools are changing. Just 2.5 years ago, it was really the sort of advent of large language models. And arguably the first industry to get disrupted by that AI is actually education itself. Now, the greatest democratization of expertise is going to be in almost everyone's pocket across the globe, almost for free. It's really an amazing thing. So that's that's part of what everybody has to do in Nobel, and in this world filled with AI. Everyone has to lead. If you want kids to succeed, everyone has to become a problem solver, and everyone can, right? They can have armies of AI agents and automation to solve real problems. We need to teach them to care about others, to understand. You and I talked about how important soft skills were, empathy being one of the most important. Our world's filled with people problems to solve. Let's make sure we teach our youth how to understand those problems, how to actually connect with people and really hear from them. If you, in the words of the tech people, I said, if you want to get, you need deep data to make decisions. And they're like, yes, okay. Well, if you want to get deep data from humans, you have to actually connect with them and you have to empathize with them, and then they'll tell you what they really feel. So it's like, if you want to be a good programmer, learn how to listen. If you want to be a good CEO, learn how to listen. And not something that you hear a lot in the media today. We've grown, and the youth and what we're teaching them really is the problems that they have. So, the latest group that started inside of Nobel is actually creating coursework on nonviolent communications. We see lots of examples today of people at a very high level communicating in ways that are not systematically solving problems, and more causing other problems, right? How can we communicate? How can we handle our differences to heal them, to find and utilize the power of diversity to come up with better solutions? And then when we do that, those youth succeed, they solve real problems, our companies succeed, they grow and learn, and what do you know, people are happier.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit, because you mentioned the coursework and the classes that you teach, and I think a lot of people are now have in their head a teacher standing at the front of the classroom lecturing to their students. So can you talk a little bit about, specifically the Nobel classes that you're talking about and how they run, and some of the unique structures about it?
Sure. So I've been working for 35 years in technology. So just a little background about myself. I got out of school as an electrical engineer and quickly got into software and communications, helped bring high-speed internet from 1.5 megabits to 40 gigabits, and then helped start a streaming video company. We streamed the World Cup in 2014. And one of the things that you learn in that is there is no teacher. You're solving real problems, right? There's no professor in front of the room. There's no homework. There's no, test. There's no right answers to this world, right? You're just solving real problems, working together, and honestly, you're having fun as you grow and learn. And that's what we did in Nobel. So the youth actually tackle real problems. They're learning coding, web design, cybersecurity, machine learning, LLMs. They're taking on real problems that they see in their community with their friends or inside of Nobel, and they're forming teams to solve those problems. And then they turn around and they actually teach those same courses to other youth. There is no teacher in front of the room. It's all peer to peer, and it's all about trying to solve real problems. And we're at this incredible time where technology is going to allow us not just to bring videos to people all over the world, but to bring the real skills learning, the people skills, the technical skills, and even the leadership skills to youth everywhere for free. So it's really kind of an incredible time where we can use technology to truly connect and bring a great equitable access to these youth everywhere. And no matter where they are on the planet, can actually participate, get those great skills, and then go on to get those great jobs.
Yeah, I think you answered most of my last question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, give you a chance to kind of sum up. How does your approach help students, employers, and the broader workforce ecosystem thrive?
Um, the
Skills.
transferable skills, right? Um, these human skills, these skills that are gonna differentiate us. Those things, the technical skills will just keep on changing, right? And they'll change at this unbelievable rate.
Mhm,
Teaching these youth how to be adaptive, how to be leaders, right? How to work together in teams, because the world is so complex.
mhm.
Modern work is all about teamwork, right? There's nothing, we're all on the peak of Mount Stupid, and we need each other to actually get real work done. And so this creates an environment that actually connects the learners and the leaders inside the company all together.
Mm,
And they have purpose, right? So they're solving real problems, and whether it's companies or cultures, right? That process of working together actually
mhm,
bonds them. So you
mm,
create a more human world. They feel better. They have more purpose, right? And they're
mhm,
more connected with each other in the company. So it's not this. It requires a shift in leadership from one where the
mhm.
leader tells everybody what to do to one of empathetic leadership, where the leader is there to serve their people, right, and enable them and help them figure out what needs to be done. And that
Mhm.
ultimately is what humanity really wants and needs.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I really appreciate you joining me today, sharing your story, starting with the challenge that you're tackling, the pivot that your company's making, and how you're charting a path for youth and our communities to thrive. So thank you very much. Um, and we'll keep talking. Here's to another
Now,
6 years, right?
yeah, thank you for 6 years ago for being that voice that said that soft skills is important. Honestly, it felt very lonely back then, because nobody even knew what they were. Right now, it seems like everyone's screaming from the rooftops. But we now have, we went from 6 to 6,000 youth. When we talk next, it'll be 6 million.
Andrew, thanks for joining me today and sharing your story, the challenge you're tackling, the pivot you're making, and how you're charting a path to thrive.